This is Aunt Lizzie Regan, past 80 years old, at her loom in Gatlinburg in the Great Smoky Mountains. Aunt Lizzie is one of the oldest practitioners of an art that almost every American woman practiced 150 years ago. And this is William Woody of Brasstown, North Carolina, finishing white oak splints from which he weaves baskets that will last a lifetime. Miss Lucy Lakes of Berea, Kentucky, making a chair bottom of corn shucks in the traditional fashion. Charles Allen, Cumberland Mountain blacksmith, at his forge. Not many forges like this are to be seen nowadays. As for the boom and treadle lathe, such ancient contraptions are now rare indeed. This wood turner is Mary L. Ownby, who makes flint-bottom chairs, and on occasion rebores muzzle-loading rifles. All these activities have their roots in the far distant past. Hand weaving, for example, is now so strange an operation to most of us that when an exhibit of rural arts was opened in this great government building in Washington not long ago, people crowded about the loom to see Mrs. Donnell Young demonstrate this age-old domestic art. This was only one of many such demonstrations. Far older than the loom that our great-grandmothers used is the Navajo Indian weaving frame. Mrs. Catherine Villa weaving one of the justly admired Navajo rugs. Chester Yellowhair demonstrates the skill of the Navajo silversmith. A demonstration in wood carving by Hugh Collins. Miss Doris Hilton, modeling in clay. A modern adaptation, making saleable ornaments from the ancient gourd and the natural plants of field and forest. Attractive decorative articles made from gourds, pine cones, and the like. Other examples of rural art on display in the Exposition Hall. Objects of Indian handicraft. Yellow cotton, raised and prepared by the Acadian women of Louisiana. Beautiful fabrics woven from this naturally tinted variety of cotton fiber. A notable example of the art of the rural metal worker. And pottery from the kilns of southern Highlanders. The covered wagon design as conceived by an artist from some mountain cove. The exhibit ranged from jugs of clay to attractive women's hats made of pine needles. Note the Hilton pitcher in the foreground with the dogwood blossom pattern. The Hilton pottery is unique in its attractive use of an old-fashioned glaze. These are typical Hilton pieces. Mrs. Hilton herself in her modest shop hills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina, working on one of her quaint and primitive figurines. Thinks lightly of these primitive pieces, but others find them charming. The Pisgah Forest pottery, where crystalline glazes are a specialty. Mr. W.B. Stevens, the potter, and one of his vases with blue keys. Other pieces from the kilns of the Pisgah Forest pottery. And 6 of Mr. Stevens' lovely bowls on display at the Washington Exhibit of Rural Arts. Here also, the characteristic art of the American whittler is given recognition. Witness this mare and foal by a country carver. A herd of the celebrated mad mules from the North Carolina mountains. and a view from the grounds of the John C. Camel Folk School at Brasstown, North Carolina, where the mad mules are made by mountain whittlers. Mrs. Camel talks over the work with mountain neighbors who gather weekly to bring in their finished pieces and get materials for further work. Examples of the work of various Brasstown whittlers. Mrs. Camel is the founder and director of Enterprise. Miss Louise Pittman, in charge of handcrafts at the school, demonstrates the pioneer method of dye. The traditional dyes used to color their yarn made from such old staples as walnut hulls, sedge grass, dye flower, indigo, and madder. Various attractive products of the Camel School. Another important center of the rural arts is Berea College, Kentucky. Here, young folks from all over the mountain country learn how to make profitable application of the traditional arts and crafts of the region. And the annual celebration they hold becomes a veritable pageant of the rural arts. Headquarters of the Penland Weavers and Potters, founded by Miss Lucy Morgan to serve the needs of the region about Penland and Spruce Pine, North Carolina. The Weavers' Cottage at Penland. Here each week, weavers from the mountains round about bring finished fabrics and get yarn for further work. Examples of the work of the Penland weavers. Beautiful and durable fabrics in various colors and patterns. Most of these patterns hark back to traditional designs. Designs such as these, for example. Miss Sarah Doherty of Russellville, Tennessee, displays samples of the work of 4 generations of weavers of the Doherty family. But of all the patterns of American folk art still extant, none known in the Southern Highlands is more romantically significant than this, the old brown double bow knot coverlet that a group of mountain women gave to Miss Frances Goodrich in 1895. For out of this gift grew the interest that resulted in the founding of the Allen Stand Cottage Industries near Asheville, and in the study and recording of traditional coverlet drafts, which Miss Goodrich has made her life work. Created by our pioneer forebears, shall not be lost to posterity. And thus, thanks to the efforts of a few devoted pioneer leaders, the perpetuation of the traditional rural arts and crafts, at least among the people of the Southern Highlands, now seems well assured.